want to bring in Amber Lee now for a look at our forecast. And I know we've been tracking all of the wildfires burning across Southern California, but the good news, Chris, you might be able to get your pumpkin spice latte sometime soon.
Finally a cool down, Amber. I mean, this is what we've been looking for. And the firefighters as well, it's been so hot out there.
So hot. Yeah, so for more than a week now, we've been waiting for the cool down to arrive. It is finally arriving today, and you can already feel it once you step outside of your house because we're feeling that cooler air. So here's a look at our next weather sky cam. This is our downtown LA camera, so I'm going to get right to what you've been waiting for. So with our next weather, what we're watching for is that significant cool down will officially begin today. It started yesterday, but today's the day where we really start to see those temperatures drop compared to the afternoon temperatures yesterday. And we're also seeing the return of the marine layer. The marine layer will start to thicken up just a little bit more as we head toward the rest of the week. And we're already feeling the cooler overnight lows, and this will continue to stay a little cooler as we head into the next few nights and mornings. And now for Thursday, tomorrow, that's going to be the coolest of the next 7 days. We're talking daytime highs 5 to 10 degrees below average. That is something that we haven't heard in a while, and we will take it. Temperatures right now in the Inland Empire for Ontario in the upper 60s. Winds are calm, but I'm going to take you out over to show you where we're dealing with all these wildfires burning right now. So that wildfire burning by Wrightwood, you could see how it kind of spread and moved uphill, and then that's why it's in the Wrightwood area. And I'm going to take you over to the wildfire, the line fire that's been burning near the foothills of the San Bernardino County Mountains. So you can see what we're dealing with. Not a lot of activity as before, but we're definitely seeing some hot spots still, all the reds that you're seeing on the board. And then this is the wildfire near Trabuco Canyon, and this is why we saw a lot of it spread closer to Lake Elsinore, kind of just went up over the ridge and on the other side of the mountain. So right now our dew points, which is another good form of moisture measurement in our atmosphere, because of the hot, dry conditions. It's been so dry, and we're still dealing with some really dry conditions for the Wrightwood area. This is why we saw the fire grow a little bit more yesterday, was because we're down into the single digits. So that tells you how bone dry it is, especially up in the mountains. And then we also have some drier air starting to work its way back into Orange County. So right now, Trabuco Canyon looks a little better than Wrightwood, or at least in the 50s. So this is something that we're watching, but with all the wildfires burning, we have the air quality alert until 11 p.m. So if you smell smoke or see ash, you're asked to stay indoors. Keep those windows and doors closed, because it really is affecting a big swath of Southern California, from the San Gabriel Valley all the way to Orange County and out into the Coachella Valley. And then we have a few more hours left of this red flag warning over the mountains of LA County. And because of that very dry air sitting above 2,000 feet, we have the low humidity. We also have those gusty winds. So if a new fire were to start, it would spread very fast. And then we also have some windier conditions over the Palmdale area for the Antelope Valley. So that's something that we're watching. But as I mentioned, significant cooling temperatures are hitting below average this afternoon. 81 for LA and Orange County. Normally we should be about 84, and then we continue the cool down. This is why Thursday is going to be the coolest, because we're looking at those temperatures kind of getting back down into the 70s. And then here's a look at our valleys. 91 today, upper 80s tomorrow. All right, back to you. All right, so the good news is that we are dealing with a significant cool down here in Southern California, as all that cooler air that we've been waiting for is really pushing in to Southern California. But we still have some really dry air over our mountaintop. So here's a quick look at where those 3 fires are burning. I'm going to take you over to the Bridge Fire, where we're seeing some really active conditions right now in the Wrightwood area. And that's because in this area, not only are we under a red flag warning because of the hot, dry conditions, but we have that dry air above 2,000 feet. So low humidity, and we also have these really gusty winds. Yes, the sea breeze has returned, but that sea breeze is pretty gusty. So this is what's making conditions favorable. If a fire were to start, it could spread really fast. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. So you can see Wrightwood is part of this red flag warning until about 11 a.m. this morning. Now here's a look. We are starting to see the winds pick up this morning for the Wrightwood area. But as we wait for the sun to come up, we're going to slowly start to see those winds diminish and just get a little bit more relaxed. But then we start to see a bump in those winds again as we head into the overnight hours. So this is going to help fire crews get a better handle on that fire as we head into the latter part of the morning. That's something that we'll continue to monitor with our next weather forecast. What we're watching watching for is not just a big cool down starting today, but you may have noticed the marine layer is also back, and our overnight lows are so much cooler this morning compared to the last few mornings. And that's all because of a system to the north of us. And that's what's really helping to bring the cool down. And then we're going to continue the cooling trend through the start of next week as temperatures will continue to drop more and more, 5 to 15 degrees below average, in fact, as we head into the start of next week. But for now, our next weather current conditions, you can see all the greens here on the board. This is why it feels so much nicer. Yesterday, we still had some yellows and oranges. Now we're looking at temperatures mainly in the 50s and 60s to start this morning off. And we are down significantly compared to this time yesterday, down by 17 degrees for Claremont, 14 for the Santa Clarita Valley, 10 for Malibu, 10 also for the Fullerton area. And then we still have some gustier winds over the Antelope Valley until 11 a.m. So we had that wind advisory, west to north winds. This is where we're going to see some of those gusts possibly isolated about 60 miles per hour. We could even start to see those winds getting a little stronger through the 5 corridor. All right, so with all the wildfires burning here in Southern California, we do have that air quality alert to tell you about. It's been extended until later tonight, so it stretches from the San Gabriel Valley all the way to the Coachella Valley. If you smell smoke or see ash, you're asked to stay indoors, close those windows and doors, and avoid any physical activity outside. But the good news, as I mentioned, this is something we've been waiting for, so our temperatures just continue to cool. We're in the 80s today for LA and Orange County. This is our next weather 7-day, and then we're getting into the 70s. By next week, we get down into the low 70s. With the return of the marine layer, maybe we could see some patchy drizzle also for a lot of places at the start of next week. For the valleys, 90s today, upper 80s by tomorrow. All right, I'll have more on your next weather forecast. So we're definitely going to feel that cool down overall today. But remember, it's been so long where we've had these hot, dry conditions that we're still dealing with these really low humidities, especially in the higher elevation. So I'll get to that in just a moment. But let's talk about our next weather current conditions. You can see very different from this time yesterday. We had more yellows and also oranges on the board. This morning, you can feel that cooler, crisper air that we're used to. Much more of the greens on the board. We have 50s and 60s this morning. That's what we're waking up to. And I just want to point out the temperature change compared to this time yesterday. Our next weather temperature change shows that we are down by 15 degrees for the Palmdale area, 15 for Claremont, 14 for Burbank and Pasadena, 10 for Simi Valley, 12 for Riverside, and it is about 5 degrees cooler closer to the airport compared to this time yesterday. So as we head into the afternoon, this is a look at our next weather forecast. What we're watching for is that significant cool down. We're going to feel it today. It's going to feel much cooler than yesterday. We already saw some of that marine influence return overnight, and it will continue to thicken up as we head into each night and morning for the rest of the week. And then also, as I mentioned, those cooler overnight lows. We're going to continue this cooling trend through the start of next week. In fact, we're looking at temperatures 5 to 15 degrees below average as we head into next week. Right now, though, because of the low humidity and that very dry air still settling over our mountain communities above 2,000 feet, we are also looking at those gusty winds. So this poses the threat for favorable fire conditions if a new fire were to start. So that red flag warning for the mountains of LA County, including the high deserts and the Wrightwood area until about noon this afternoon. But I do want to show you our next weather 7-day where it is looking good. 81 today for LA and Orange County. We're getting into the below average territory, meaning even cooler. We get down into the low 70s, maybe even some patchy drizzle by the start of next week. So this is something that we'll continue to monitor.